Yo, check out this clip from the pre-patch podcast.
So that was the PlayStation Showcase, guys, and listeners. And
We are over. You know, we're over almost by just 10 minutes or so. So like I said, we blame Sin.
Okay, sure. I mean, I did my best for
Yeah.
Christ's sake, man. I think I think I did a fucking great job. Thank you very much. So,
we can't.
But yeah, I mean, look, I think ultimately, kind of closing statements on this is like, I want to go around the horn real quick. Like, what do you think that the show deserved as much hate as what it's getting? Or do you think it was underrated, or do you think it is, where do you put the show out of let's say a 1 out of 10? And we'll go around the horn. So Bill, I'll have you kind of go first as the PlayStation.
As a showcase for gamers, I feel like it was probably a solid 8 out of 10. Okay. I feel like there's a lot of really good stuff for a lot of gamers to be excited for. I'm pretty impressed with the VR tech, which I know a lot of people weren't. That being said, as a showcase for Sony specifically, it was probably a 4 or a 5.
Wow.
Just because I think the VR was the only real impressive thing that they were showing outside of like Spider-Man. Most of the games were going to be either timed exclusives, or they were just going to release cross-platform on all, which I think is a good thing. But
what could have made it a better
not having a fucking streaming peripheral, like a share play peripheral, be one of the big announcements, and not a PS Vita too. Having some other like the problem with the exclusives that they showed was none of them were new. They were all stuff that we kind of knew about. They needed something to pair alongside of Spider-Man to really drive that up, because we already knew Spider-Man 2 was coming.
So you meaning in the exclusive line? Is that what you're talking about?
If they wanted it to be more Sony themed and be a Sony win, then yes. Because all we saw here was there's a lot of cool games coming. Be excited for them. Some of them, yes, will be Sony exclusives, but the majority are going to be timed or cross-platform, which is fine. I think they're holding some of their big guns back for Summer Game Fest. I think that's where they're going to drop the next like massive exclusive besides Spider-Man, along with some other good titles. I think that'll be
Bloodborne
the gaming showcase.
Well, even if they do Bloodborne PC, it's still not a Sony exclusive. Like, it's nothing for Sony fans to get excited about.
Yeah, but I think Bloodborne PC would be a huge fucking win for Sony.
I think if they did Bloodborne remake and then they were to give it the Demon Souls treatment and then put it on PC, sure. But if they just do Bloodborne PC, Sony fans will get a fucking So,
we'll be happy that day though.
I will be ecstatic. Scruff, your thoughts here?
Well, they definitely don't go like as in depth as Bill. But I mean, overall, like I think it was a decent showing. I didn't get too much out of it for my personal taste. Like there's a few games that like kind of piqued my interest that a few games I want to see more of. I want to see more of that marathon game, just because I'm curious kind of on how it's gonna really play out. But I don't know. I think there was also a lot of cringe being the handheld fucking shit, the POS. That's just what I'm calling it now too.
Yeah. Sony POS.
It's staying. I don't know. Overall, like I think it's a solid 6.9. You know.
Okay.
Nice.
Thank you. And I actually mean that. Like, not even as a meme. I think it was mid, but like, there was a few interesting points, and even some of the VR stuff. Like, I want to get a VR. I just don't have the capability, like the space for a VR yet. I can literally go and touch my ceiling right now. I'm gonna break a hole through my ceiling if I try to play VR. So I want to get that. I want to get into those games because they look really good. Some of them, at least, not that Crossfire bullshit. I think that's it though. I mean, yeah, no, overall decent, not bad.
Okay.
Eager to see more in the future in summer.
Enigma, what do you think, buddy? What's your take here?
I think I'm on par with Bill. I'd say this is surprising because I'm not a Sony guy, right? Like I'm not a Sony fan at all. But yeah, I'd say like a 8. I'd even say like maybe an 8.5. I thought it was a decent showcase, honestly. For
I don't think it deserved the hate.
I don't think it
Not the
deserved the
hype.
hate at all. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I think the only thing that I can say that it did deserve the hate for is like it was very slow. Like up until the point that we started seeing like I'd say like
First, I'd say 35 minutes.
I'd say like Metal Gear Solid. After the Metal Gear Solid, even maybe even further than that, maybe even into Dragon's Dogma 2. The entire fucking showcase was just kind of was just kind of boring to me. Like there was a bunch of stuff. It came down to like while I was watching and while we were kind of having a conversation about it in my chat while we were streaming, was like I was trying to keep track of like PlayStation exclusive, PC, PlayStation exclusive, and everything like that. And literally, like every game pretty much was a PlayStation and PC. And I was just like, well, there's no reason for me to buy a PlayStation at this point. Like, I don't know. So to me, yeah, I would say 100%, like Bill said, like a solid 8.5 maybe for gamers, but like for Sony itself, I'd say probably like like a 3 or 4. Like I don't think that they represented themselves very well in this one.
Okay.
Personally,
I can't believe I'm going to be the one here to come out and say that like I clap up Sony. I think that it was a solid showcase for them, because I think that this shows growth. Like we have dogged Sony on this show, and for 80 some odd episodes.
Poor Bill, man. Poor Bill, man.
You know, really, honestly, for 80 something episodes, and maybe this is like post-trauma, sin, changed man. I don't know, but
change of heart.
I mean,
maybe Bill's change of heart, and he's starting to go against Sony is just from like our constant like badgering, and he's just like, it's just like PTSD now.
Yeah, maybe Bill is the Venom Bill, right? Like this is like the dark mode Bill. But no, I mean, I think like still fuck Jim Ryan. I don't like Jim Ryan, but
okay. Glad we got that on the table.
I will say, like, I think from a Sony showcase, like, I'm proud of them. Like, I think they did a phenomenal job. I think they hit the message that needed to be hit, and so many times over, right? And us too, like we have knocked them for being like, oh, you keep everything behind locked doors. It's all locked to Sony. It's only exclusives. Like you don't like give a fuck about like the greater gamer good. Like you only give a shit about your studios and your things that you're going to care about. And so they went completely full tilt the other direction, right? So now they're showcasing games that are cross-platform. They're showcasing games that are coming to other things, but you as a gamer didn't buy maybe you didn't buy an Xbox, right? Maybe you only bought a PlayStation game. Well, you're still getting these games. Like it's still a win. Like it's not a fault that they're saying like we're not holding this shit back. Like I think it's understandable why there's that hate, because Sony encouraged that. Like Sony bred that into their fan base. Like this is this is
kind of their fan base lashing out a little bit too.
And I'm like, you know what? So kudos to Sony, and keep on this path, right? Like I think you absolutely need to make games cross-platform, and you need to show your love. Like be a studio that's gonna go out there and want to further games in other places. So we
could be seeing like the first steps of Sony, right? Going.
Yeah, I mean,
the other direction.
Just be posturing, but
I mean, it could be right. Yeah. In all of this world, this could be like, and that's what the fear is. It's like I'm like, okay, cool. Like all of the hate that they're getting, are they going to reverse? Are they going to go backward and go now back into this mindset of we got to lock everything down? And when I see a Sony showcase, I have to go back to like, well, that's great, but I don't give a fuck. I'm not buying a $500 system to fucking wait, to play a game, that I have to wait a year for to play on a PC. Like that's stupid.
Right.
So, kudos to Sony. Keep on this path. Keep doing what you're doing. Yes, the fucking handheld was a piece of shit. If that's the case that we need. Jim Ryan, get him off of screen. I don't ever want to see him again. And aside from that, I loved it. I think it was fun. And Crossfire was a piece of shit. Aside from that, I think the showcase was awesome. I'm going to give it, I give the showcase with those, I'm going to give it on the Sony side and everything. I'm going to give it an 8-9. I think it was a fucking phenomenal showcase. I think they did a great job. Even with my qualms,
Okay.
I think Sin's still sick, guys.
I'm not.
Yeah, you're right.
I am a lover of games. I want games to be games. I want them.
I will say this
That's
showcase
why I did
out of
split
any
rating.
Yeah, like it definitely was more for the gamers and the consumer
This was
for
the
once.
first time that we've seen Sony be for the gamers.
Yeah, that.
But again, it could just be posturing because they're under investigations or whatnot. But I would like to think not.
Yeah. So keep it up.
I hope you enjoyed this small selection from the Pre-Patch podcast. And if you want to catch us live, we do this every Thursday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, both on YouTube and Twitch. So don't forget to like and subscribe. We are also available to listen to at anchor.fm/Pre-Patch podcast or wherever podcasts are listened to. Much love.